throughout the whole prep, I think the most I ever did was, which was at the start, for the first 2 weeks, I did 4 20 minutes steady state cardio. Treadmill was my preference. Walking on the treadmill was my preference this prep. In previous preps, I've liked the cross trainer as well, but on this one it was high incline, the highest of the incline, around the speed of, in kilometers per hour, I think it's on between 5.4 to 6. Just basically trying to focus on keeping my heart rate above 130 beats per minute. So yeah, four times 20 minutes at the beginning of the prep. This was way back in March, just because I was just trying to basically get a good head start. So while I was still in a place where, you know, had a lot of fat on me, energy was high, it didn't feel like anything. You know, if anything, it helped me in regards to being more, having more stamina for my training sessions and everything as well. Like, you know, just improving. As I started dropping the fat, I was obviously feeling a little bit more flexible and so on, just a bit fitter as well to do my sessions. After those 2 weeks, I then just moved it to 3 times a week, 20 minutes, same rule, and mostly post-workout, on certain post-workout days. But yeah, that's pretty much at the highest point. Towards the end of prep, we then went to about 30 minutes on those 3 times a week, and that was pretty much it. Alright, but yeah, that's pretty much cardio. Steps, I focused on steps, yes I did. At the start we were around 10,000 steps. Towards the end I just focused on making sure I moved a lot more, because that's one of the key things I've learned to help with conditioning. In that latter stages, rather than trying to drop so much food, you know, you need to keep the carbs high, because as Vicky would say, from BMBF, you know, carbs for conditioning. If you want conditioning, you need carbs, so you can't be going on no carbs and all that kind of stuff. At no point did I try and do that on this prep, because you do lose conditioning with that. So yeah, try not to drop the food too crazy low. What I focused on was moving more. That's what really helps in those last stages, to get that bit of fat off in certain areas, in your troubled areas, in the latter stages of prep. Because what happens is, as you get into those latter stages, your body's trying to find ways to not do much, to not move. Doing things like I was, you know, trying not to, I was sitting down a lot more. I was leaning on things a lot more. Walking was a chore. It was like I was trying to pick up my own feet. So what I was doing in those last 2 weeks in particular was I was forcing myself to do more. So, for example, going to a station, I'll walk to the next train station before I get on my train. I'd make sure I did food shopping. I didn't get everything, so I have to, at certain points in the day, do a walk to Tesco's, Asda, Sainsbury's, whatever. Nice 20 minutes there and back, that kind of thing. And those things, little things, really did help in the latter stages in ensuring that the fat loss continued without having to drop so much food. Because another thing I'll point out later on, I'll go into more depth in, is the fact that I felt like I probably was even still, I think I still didn't get that too right in regards to, I could definitely have eaten a lot more going into the show. And you know, it kind of showed as well, because the judges' feedback, one of them was the finals, pre-judging and finals, which is about 2 hours difference. I came in so much tighter and harder. That's just simply because I ate a lot in those 2 hours after they worked us like crazy in pre-judging. So yeah, I'm remembering things I'm still learning from myself in regards to how sometimes mentally you always think you're not there and you're worried about eating too much. But again, I need to remember that, no, I need to eat a lot more. One, I need to fill out anyways, but two, when you're that lean, it really does help with conditioning. Anyway, let's finish off carbs. Why do I like doing carbs before my main movement on leg day, which today is leg press? One reason, if I do carbs at the end of the workout, I'm probably not gonna do it. I know mentally I start switching off, and doing things like carbs, I wouldn't enjoy doing. I'll probably give myself an excuse and not do what needs to be done. So whenever I do train carbs, they're always at the beginning, at the beginning of the session, just simply because I know I need to give it the focus that it needs, and also I know mentally I'll probably start switching off if it's at the end of the session. The only thing I am going to do is before the leg press is leg curls. Again, just a nice little tip as well, something I got from a few people, a few pros. Leg curls before your big leg compound movement is also, honestly, it's a game changer. You feel just so much more warmed up and prepared to do that movement. Leg curls before deadlifts even, another good one. One thing you'll notice, guys, is I like to actually brace myself by holding the seat. Again, personal preference. You can give it a try if you feel more secure doing it, but yeah, I feel like I can get a few more reps by really pulling myself down into the seat and focusing on squeezing my glutes to start the movement. So even though I'm only doing legs once a week, we are doing seated ham curls twice a week. I also do these at the start of my back day, simply because one thing I have noticed is really big hamstrings is needed in the heavyweight category. John, again, just solidified that for me. John won the overall at the show where we're at. He won the heavyweights and the overall. And yeah, one thing you can definitely notice is, especially on that side chest shot of side triceps, hanging hamstring. I'll put pictures up of my hanging hamstrings. They ain't hanging. So we got work to do. But we will get it done. These will be hanging hamstrings come next time I'm on the stage, all right? Guys, remember, like, I'm not gonna talk about this anymore again, you know, I'm not gonna talk about this again, so you can watch this back in the future, because for me, talk is cheap. Got a lot of work to do, I'm gonna get it done, but in case anybody's always wondering in the future, what are your plans, what are you doing, please just watch back on these episodes, because I ain't saying them again, I'm just gonna get to work, so. Hamstrings, hanging hams, next time you see me. With all the previous exercises, I'm pretty warmed up to do this. I'll probably only need 2 warm-up sets on here before going into my main working set. I am going to do the so-called back-off set, which is the higher rep range first, and then the heavier load, the top set afterwards. What I like to do on this is, with that first set, I'm aiming to also improve my fitness as well. So what I try to do is do what we call continuous reps. So no pauses at the top. You know, when you rest after like 1 rep or something sometimes. I'm trying to basically do a continuous flow of reps for as many reps as possible, and I'll log that as well, plus the additional how many reps I do after I start pausing at the top. Last time, I think I did 2 weeks out before the show, I was able to do 230 kg, which is added onto this leg press for about 16 continuous reps. So if I can get anywhere near that for this first time back, that'd be great. But again, I'm just being realistic here and trying to find a good base number to work on. Note on this side Bex, I know I was saying 230 kg, trust me, if you were going to a pure gym or gym group or whatever, it's the equivalent of doing like 450 or 500 kg on the leg press there. Believe me, this leg press is humbling. It's the old school side Bex hack. I 100% believe it's the same kind of side Bex that Dorian was using back in the day in Blood and Guts, the documentary. It is heavy, humbling. The first time I came in here, for someone who was doing 450 kg on a matrix leg press in Pure Gym, it was very humbling when I tried to do a warm-up set of 100, and it was killing me. But yeah, so excited to have this as a regular in my training now, because again, this is just gonna blow my legs up even more. Because I've only been here since December, and obviously we had the lockdown, so realistically, I probably only had 4 months of training, and this was mostly in a deficit while using this. Now using this in a growing phase, I'm excited, very excited. So that was 11 continuous reps. Oh, I'm dizzy, hold on. Slightly disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. From doing 16. to doing 11 now. Again, it just goes to show what I already know. Preparation before the training. Everything that goes on outside of the training session. How well have you done in executing those things and being consistent with it? Last weekend, I was away at Leeds for a wedding, long drive. I haven't, for the past week, I haven't been eating optimally. Been making sure trying to have enough protein, drink plenty of fluids. But I've been eating anything and everything. Because in the rebound phase, I do things like what I like to call free meals, just to really fuel up even more. This is the first week where I'm actually just trying to track things properly. Sleep has been terrible the past week, to say even, because I'm straight back into work as well, early hours. But also while I was away, it's not like I really slept that much. So yeah, it's not been optimal. So I won't be surprised the next time I'm doing this, which is not next week, in 2 weeks' time. Completely different story, because everything outside of the training session is optimal. Sleep, water. As I get back into my routine, remember, consistency is what is key, guys. That's the name of the series, consistency over perfection. I'm not trying to be perfect, just trying to make sure I'm consistent with everything. And everything that happens outside of the training session plays a key part, guys. So, again, like I said, not surprised. By Friday even, I'll probably be able to do things a lot better, just simply because I've had some consistent days of keeping everything else on track, actually eating what I need to eat, getting all the fluids in, getting the rest needed, the recovery, managing stress, all that kind of stuff. That's another key one. As I get closer to the wedding reception, I'm not gonna lie, stress is creeping up a little bit, so trying to manage that is also key as well. But 11, we'll take it. This next one's gonna be very painful, because the top set of 270. Now just seeing what just happened there. Actually, I probably will do well, because I'm kind of ticked off right now, I'm not gonna lie. Well, let's see. 6 reps. I believe we matched what we did last time, which was 3 weeks ago. I literally just remembered on the 3rd rep, because I was really sticky. Someone posted on Instagram, if it was Theo, he had a big fail, where he couldn't re-rack the weight, and the leg press literally almost squashed him into like nothing. But luckily some guys around there were able to push it back up and rack the weight. That popped into my head at rep 3. I was just not the right thing to be thinking about. I had to quickly switch up. I say it so many times, guys, you see me do it in the training videos. Stay in the set, don't let your mind wander. I was on rep 3, there was no way I could have got to rep 6, if I kept on thinking about that. So I had to literally get it out, focus again. Deficit sumos. Key thing here, guys, even though we are doing it in a deadlift, sumo deadlift stance, I want people to think of doing actually a sumo squat, because we're just trying to get a full stretch of the hamstrings on the way down, and good contraction coming back up with the glutes as well. So yeah, think of it as less of a hip hinge, but more of like a sumo squat kind of movement. Weights will progress as it goes, but the main thing is I'm creating the deficit by using smaller plates. I could stand on a block to make the deficit, but if I was using like normal 20 kg plates and everything, but I just prefer using smaller plates, either or. I know some of my clients like to stand on some plates because they don't have blocks like we do here. But yeah, again, I haven't done these in a while, so I'm just trying to find a base mark here. And it's more about the detail and contraction I'm focusing on. I have to say really developed an oblique over the past 4 years is this right here. Really, really good to get twisting movement in for your abs, for the oblique. I'll get Aiden to put up a shot of these on the side-by-sides. 2017 to 2021 stage shots of the side pose. Complete night and day difference in how the obliques, how sharp they are. You can do 2 variations to this. I like the high to low. Some of my clients prefer the basically having it level with about ab height, so like just above the hip. But I prefer the high to low version. Just works a bit better for me, personal preference. Some of my clients, like I said, prefer that mid-range. But like I said, key thing is don't use the hands. They're just hooks. It's all about twisting. That's all you're trying to do. Twisting the torso, controlling your breathing, and then learning that contraction for the side obliques as well. If you want good obliques, stop doing standing side bends. Please stop doing that. All right, simple anatomy 101. All right, all you're doing is compressing the spine when you're standing trying to do side bends. It doesn't work for the side. It might think you are crunching there, but you're not. You're gonna have to do a crunch, do it lying down, and then do a crunch. All right, that's better. But standing up, simple physics, simple gravity. You're there, all you're compressing is the spine doing that. All right, so please stop doing that. 10 days post competition. Obviously the goal for me is to get full onto the off-season, start growing. So yeah, I don't mind put on the fat, but don't get me wrong. You're lying if you're someone who says you don't want to stay in that stage condition all year round. Obviously, I'd love to do that, but that's not the goal because I know I need to progress, and I can't do that staying in this condition. No new muscle tissue can be built like this at this point right now. It's only when I'm back in that calorie surplus, where I am in that state where my body has enough energy source and has enough fuel, which is essentially food, to be able to really push on and progress the physique, progress my lifts, start doing some, like things like that leg press there. I want to be in the 300s on that leg press, that kind of thing, progressing to those kind of crazy numbers. That's what got me to where I was from 2017 to now. That's what's going to get me even further for the next goal. But what I'm trying to get at is basically, my mindset is okay with accepting the fact that I'm not going to look stage lean for all year round, simply because the next goal is what I'm working towards. And that's why all my clients, even if it's just a photo shoot, even if it's just a transformation, we always discuss the after, what happens after basically. We always discuss that before even reaching the end goal, because always having that next goal really helps. And for me, as I already told you, we're training for that win now. So yeah, that's what my mind is on, so I don't mind. But either way, I'm still in good condition. I'm 87.9. I think for me, it's only probably when I start reaching 93, 94, I'll probably start looking more out of shape. So where we're at, not too bad. Obviously, the areas that were lost to come off in fat when I was in the fat loss are the areas that are coming back a lot quicker. So hamstrings, glutes, lower back, those are the areas that we're filling out on quickly. Fortunately, not the arms and shoulders yet. Those are gonna look lean for a while. But yeah, like I said, I am pretty happy with how things are. Still got striations in the quads. Thought I looked on the back, but I doubt there was much striations in the glutes anymore. Abs will probably still be there, so like I said, 92, 93, but not too fussed on that because, again, end goal now. Questions I got asked was why the BNBF, the British National Bodybuilding Federation? Why did I compete with them? My short answers are, have you seen the lighting, the stage lighting of BNBF? And also, have you seen the magic Phoebos is able to create with his photography? Honestly guys, check out the pictures. It's probably the best stage lighting you will ever see. I've always envied some of my clients who've competed in it. Seeing their pictures afterwards, they look like literally some sort of characters out of Marvel or something. So those are the first real reasons that come up to my mind. But apart from that, on a serious note, it's for me one of the best national bodybuilding federations out there. Been following what Vicky and Guy have been doing there, and just like I said, going to the shows, not just as a spectator but also as a coach. Athletes, my own clients, have always been saying how great they take care of them, how the show is just so amazing, and the atmosphere is always amazing. I experienced it on both ends now, all three ends, so as a spectator, as a coach, and also now as an athlete. And just little things like just seeing a little 6-year-old girl just waving at us, and we come out of the backstage going, "Hey bodybuilders," that kind of stuff. You got kids who are there, family who are there. It's just so, it just feels like a great environment. Everything just feels amazing. In regards to how the show runs, ridiculous. Like those guys, tip top. Everything is on time, on point. Calling us backstage to pump up. We got pump up weights. We had pump up weights already there. Amazing, actual weights, not just bands, proper weights. For people blazing you, people working backstage. Lily, shout out to you as well. Organizing everybody, keeping them in line and everything. Basically, the short answer is it's just such a great federation that takes care of its athletes, and it's well known as well. It's recognized as a top natural bodybuilding federation worldwide. And if you become a pro with them as well, it is, again, like I said, recognized worldwide. So that's the reason why. And I always targeted to do the MBF for my first show. Macros. So always one that always gets asked. I probably only changed my macros 3 times throughout this whole prep. Probably lower than what I would wanted to have done throughout the whole prep, just simply because I wasn't at the same starting point as I was 2020 when originally that was the plan, to get back on stage, but the prep got cut short because, as we know, COVID. I was prepping to do a show in May last year. Obviously March was when the first lockdown happened, and that completely ruined everything. Plus I had my wedding, which was now the first part of the wedding, which was the actual church ceremony, which we did do last year, thankfully. So yeah, I wasn't trying to jump onto any other shows last year, and last year was even more. It was even more indecisive in regards to like when you know a show was going to happen. So yeah, this year it was last minute. Originally, I was literally just in a fat loss phase just to see where I was at, because with the lockdowns and everything, I wasn't someone who had a gym or even a space to do things in regards to home gym wise. I literally had bands, 2 set of dumbbells, 12 kg each, and they can adjust to being 24 kg. And yeah, that's pretty much what I was working with. Not trying to say, oh no, I had it bad or anything. No, I mean, a lot of people probably even had it worse. I'm just obviously letting you know where I was at, and that's why I wasn't so confident to start off with that I was definitely doing a prep for a show. I only registered for the show literally the last time we were filming the episode with Michelle, which was 2 weeks out from the show. That's when I actually registered. And 2 main reasons. One was I honestly felt, as I was praying, I felt God saying to me, it's time, get on that stage. I said, okay. And the second reason was I looked at myself, I was like, with the lockdowns and everything, I've clearly made progress since 2017. Let's really solidify how much progress I've made, and let's see where we're at. Have we reached that top placing? Have we placed in the top 5? Are we going to be in first call out? And as you can see, we were. Okay. Back to actually the original question, macros. I just went completely off on a tangent there. So yeah, started off pretty much around 300 grams of carbs. Protein stayed around 230 grams of protein daily, and fats were around 50-55. We did have non-training day macros where the carbs went down to about 250, 225, and then protein was a little bit higher, extra 10 grams. Fats were a little bit higher, extra 10 grams as well. We had refeeds. We had 3 double refeed days, so basically refeeds back to back 3 times throughout the whole prep, throughout the whole 17 weeks, where I had carbs up to about 500 grams, protein down to about 190, 180 grams, and fats to about 45 grams. In regards to the changes, like I said, I changed those twice. We got as low, and the lowest point was 180 grams of carbs on non-training days. Protein went down to about 220, 210. and fats were around 40, 45 lowest. On training days, my carbs went as low to about 250 grams on training days. Those were the changes that happened. But yeah, didn't do too many changes, and definitely next prep I am expecting to have things a lot higher, because like I said, I think I did suffer from, in regards to how my metabolism was and everything, because of the lockdowns and everything, just not being able to train at the intensity I normally train at. Trying to replicate that at home was not happening. I mean, home workouts literally was me trying to maintain what progress I had made in the previous years. I was hard to progress anything. One of the reasons why I know my hamstrings can grow, because I think they suffered a lot. Hamstrings and glutes suffered a lot because I couldn't really replicate the heavy, intensity movements I was doing on hamstrings through using bands. It was just too awkward for my limbs and everything, and yeah, it was tough basically in regards to trying to replicate that same intensity. So it was literally about maintaining it. So yeah, those are the macros. Think of them as you will, but I think the main takeaway from this is definitely never drop your carbs too low. Protein, you can afford to drop those a bit, as long as you're around that 1.8 or 1.6 grams times your current body weight. That's the lowest end you want to be at. So yeah, for me, that was always a buffer between 180 to about 230. So the highest end was 230 grams of protein. I'm not a high protein person. I'm just not an advocate of that. Say as you are, there's a lot of science out there, pros and cons. For me, it's just how I feel works best for my body. But again, prioritizing carbs is the number one thing, especially for if you are stepping on stage and you want that conditioning, you want that feathers in your quads, dry look, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's macros. Okay, cheat meals, guys. Do not do what we call cheat meals. My clients and I, we are simply what we call free meals. So it's just simply psychological. I just don't believe in saying you are cheating. It's the kind of thing here, but free meals is what I like to call them. So where it's basically an off plan, it's completely off the plan that you have there, and you just enjoy that meal. Did I have that throughout the whole prep? No free meals. Like I said, I only had calculated refeeds, again, because obviously prioritizing what the goal is here. I didn't want to be doing things that are completely, it's like guesswork. For example, some people might think my approach is flexible dieting kind of approach, or if it fits your macros. However, I kind of disagree, simply because I'm still eating the same things I've been eating for the past 4 years. Like all the stuff. So even though you see my pre-workouts didn't change too much, things like crumpets, Pop-Tarts I took out like probably about 10 weeks out, just simply because I didn't have enough macros to use those. But things like that, protein bars, these are all stuff I normally eat in my day-to-day, so my body's used to it. Things like having pizza night with my wife. It wasn't Domino's, it was just literally some sort of a pizza from Asda or Tesco that would fit with my macros, again, that I'd normally been eating, so my body is used to it. That's literally the philosophy in regards to what I do, in regards to my nutrition. Yes, it's about the macros, trying to hit those, but I'm not just using different food sources that I've never used before. It's all stuff that my body is used to. I didn't introduce anything new. Here's a funny example, actually. When I was carb loading about 3 days out from the show, I bought these salt and vinegar rice cakes, thinking, surely, I know I've never eaten this brand before, I've never had this one before, but it's just rice cakes, surely we should be fine. I ate, I think it was just 3, that was what I planned to have like 10 that day. Ate 3, an hour later, the worst bloat ever and discomfort, and it was so strange because it just goes to show it's not about demonizing foods, but there are certain things that your body's just used to. So when you introduce something completely new, it just happens. Not saying there's anything wrong with those rice cakes, there's nothing wrong with them, it's just clearly my body was just at that moment, especially at that stage of prep, anything new was just going to be a simple, quick effect on my body. So yeah, I knew to take those out straight away. But yeah, things like Serene. If you watch the full day of eating, which was I believe the first episode of the series, you'll see the kind of foods I was eating. But yeah, things like pizza night, I still did 2 weeks out. Just simply because, again, like key thing I was prioritizing during prep was being able to have dinner with my wife, one meal with my wife. And always being able to fit that in. So I always saved most of my fats for the evening. But yeah, things like obviously lean mince, chicken, cream of rice, oats. These are stuff I normally eat in my day-to-day. Not much change there. Pop chips, I have. Those are my things I have there. The only thing I do cut out is stuff that I call trigger foods, so I know that I can't control. It's kind of like something I eat and I know I'm just going to go out of control here. So things like cookies, you will never see me. You can come through, mate. Sorry. That's right. Things like cookies, yeah. During prep, I didn't have one cookie just simply because I'm that kind of guy where if I have one cookie, I don't care, man. I'm not trying to fit in 3 or 4. I want the whole pack. Whereas things like cereal, which is the reverse for most people. Some of my clients say I'm crazy, but I can literally weigh out 20 grams of cereal, and that's enough to just satisfy me with my sweet tooth, rather than trying to have a whole box of cereal, a whole big bowl of it. That's again, just knowing your trigger foods, knowing you. But the key thing is also being able to work with your so-called weaknesses. I don't call them weaknesses. I have a sweet tooth. I love sweet things, so I make sure I incorporate that in my day-to-day diet so I can stay on track. Which is why, as you saw in my prep, things like my Pepsi Max raspberry, things like the cream of rice with fruits, frozen berries, protein bars, all these sweet things, the cereal with the Greek yogurt, all these things added up to just help me keep me on track. That's why I have it in there. But yeah, lockdown, not too much to say on that apart from it was terrible. But thank God, honestly, I learned a lot from it, not just business-wise, but I think I progressed the most business-wise through that. But I learned a lot myself as well, and again, I was blessed to have my wife through it for the latter stages of the lockdowns. She was such a great support in those times. Training-wise, like I said, it wasn't the best, but again, made the most of it. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think I've kind of answered the other question, which was eating clean. I'm not that kind of person. I don't know what eat clean means. Do you wash the food? I don't know, that kind of thing. But I know what people try and say, what they think it means, but you got to remember, again, your body doesn't have a brain that you think it has, like your actual brain, which is, if it sees this food, it's going to be like, whoa, 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 that's not a clean food. Can't have that. You got to remember, it doesn't work like that. Just simple basics, all right? If you have a reaction to certain food, it's because maybe that food gives you, it's something you're not used to. You can be allergic to it, you can be an allergy, whatever. Don't assume it's because it's a bad food. There's no point in labeling foods. Would I do a prep having 5 guys at McDonald's every day? No, because most likely it's going to be difficult for me to, even though if I could fit it in, it would be difficult for me to be able to, A, have my training performance the way I want it to be at, because it's not exactly food that you want to be fueling yourself for to train. Most of you know, like when you go on that post-show eating everything, your training for the next few days is probably not the best because it's not the normal fuel source that you're used to. You don't want to be the high fats. You want to have that right balance of protein and carbs, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, either way, what I'm trying to say is I don't demonize food. Something I learned from the past, and it's helped me a lot moving forward. Again, why make things so difficult for yourself in regards to trying to say I can't eat this food? If you don't have an actual allergy to it or an actual medical reason, and for me it's as simple as you just don't like it, then I don't know why you're saying that. So yeah, for me, foods I don't eat is because I just don't like them, simple as, or I don't see the purpose for it in regards to fueling my goal. But yeah, that's pretty much it. All the questions answered there. I think, like I said, guys, talk is cheap. I've told you the goal now. It is to win. Take the overall for the next qualifier, and when I do step on stage in British finals, it is that top 3 placing in the heavyweights. So yeah, I guess it's now known. We all know who Joshua Conde is now on the BNBF scene. Will I be at other federations? Maybe. I might show up to a show one day. So anybody else watching this, if you're a competitor and you're in the heavyweights, you can keep an eye open on things, see where I'm at. Because as you know, I don't put everything out there anymore on IG in regards to this. I keep it quiet because I don't see the point. IG's for highlights. A lot of people look amazing on IG. I myself, this is what got me caught up in 2017, thinking I was better than I was. You put up the best pictures to make yourself look good on IG, but then you realize you get caught up thinking you look that good. All throughout prep, I put up pictures on here as well. Aiden put them up. I did my check-ins, my progress pictures in the worst lighting, just simply because I knew I'll look 10 times better on stage, just to help me stay humble and help me keep focused and going up thinking I'm ahead or anything. It made me work harder. But yeah, aside from that, like I said, You won't be hearing me talk about this anymore, but that's the goal, and that's what we're working towards. Thanks again, guys. We're probably going to be ending the series now. Probably got 1 or 2 more videos to do. Next one will probably be training with a client. Should be fun. But aside from that, guys, yeah. Take care. God bless. Yeah, I pray literally everyone is well. If you've been following this whole series, thank you so much. Always keep, give me your comments. Any sort of like feedback would be great. I really appreciate the support, guys, and yeah, just keep seeing how this journey goes. But yeah, as always, guys, DMs always free in Instagram. Ask me any questions, anything. One final thing in regards to coaching. Online coaching only is what I've got available, guys. So unfortunately, people are still inquiring about personal training in gym at Pure Gym Oval. I am fully booked for the year. So please just know it is online coaching. And as you can see, I do get results with my online clients too, without a shadow of doubt. But if you're interested in joining Gain and Burn Fitness, joining the team, that's where I can offer my services. Take care, guys.